By far, one of the smallest portable solar power stations or solar generators that I have tested is the Bluetti EB3A. There have been a number of things that I've liked about it and a number of things I've disliked about it, and I want to share that with you guys in this video. This is a tiny little power station, good for charging up small devices on the go. For example, cordless tools, recharging those batteries, using this in a truck just to keep your DC fridge going on a work day, something like that. This has worked well for that. But is the inverter efficiency good enough to say that this is something that you should get? We're going to go over that here in this video. So obviously I test a ton of this type of equipment. You can see from the shelf behind me, this is one of 3 shelves that I have of portable solar power stations or solar generators that I get and test and use in many different ways. I have countless videos on this, and the point is I've gotten used to these different systems and how they work, and every now and then I get a big surprise, like on this one, with its efficiency. So this system, the EB3A, is a good system if you just need a little bit of portable power, just for like your phone or your laptop or a drone battery, anything like that. This is in no way going to be a good item for emergency preparedness. It's simply not big enough for the inverter output, the battery capacity, or the solar input. Those are the 3 major things that I look at with any power station. Is it a powerful enough inverter to run what I need it to run? Is the fuel tank or the battery capacity big enough to run what I need it to run for the time that I need it for, whether that's 1 hour or 5 hours or 5 days? And then the solar input. Is the solar input enough to recharge that battery in a single day while still running that equipment? That is the key factor for solar input, is rechargeability while still running that equipment. Now out of the box, you're going to get the EB3A, and then you're going to get a DC7909, also known as an 8mm barrel connector to MC4 adapter. You're going to get the warranty card and the user manual. Now the user manual is quite small. You can see it's got a list of all the specs here. It's a 268 watt-hour battery. It's a 600 watt inverter with a 200 watt solar input. So 600 watt inverter is a decent size for running little things. I mean, that could actually run a refrigerator. Now you wouldn't want to run a refrigerator on this, but you wouldn't want to use it for a fridge simply for the fact that the battery is not big enough to run it for very long at all. I mean, a couple hours is what you're likely going to get out of a system like this running a normal refrigerator. The system's very basic. You get your screen, power on, light, 2 AC outlets. Turn it on right here. You've got your breaker switch right here. Right here we have a C14 receptacle, which is a perfect match for this C13 plug. Plugs right into here, and it has a built-in fast charger, and you can adjust the charging speed in the app. And then on the side here, you have a DC7909 or 8mm barrel connector, which is for solar charging. I do like that they use this simplified cable here. It's just like this. And it works very well for charging very quickly. The biggest thing is just no power adapter brick. That's really nice. But in the efficiency test that I did on this, I did a 0.2C discharge. And all that means is I take 20%, whatever the battery capacity is, and put that load on the inverter to see how much energy I get out of the battery. And when I did that, I got 75% of the total battery capacity out of this unit, which is very low. 85% is considered great. You should at least be close to 80%. I mean, that's what Bluetti normally does, is anywhere from 80 to 85%. But unfortunately, this unit here, I only got 75% out of it. And that was through the AC plugs right here. As far as solar rechargeability and recharging from wall outlet, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that right now. The EB3A is doing really well at running almost 600 watts consistently. It's just running this heat gun right here, so no problem at all running 600 watts. But the screen keeps turning off and it drives me nuts. It's like maybe 60 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and it shuts off. So I wish the screen would stay on just so I can see from a distance what's going on, because I'm just trying to discharge this to a certain level. I want to be able to keep an eye on it, so I wish the screen would stay on. So with this load on it, I want to see if we can do wall charging at the same time. See what happens here. Okay, this may be a deal breaker. We're not getting any input right now. So when I turn off the AC, what happens? Now it says UPS mode, and now we're getting an input. But how can it be UPS mode if it's not running an AC load at the same time? So now that the wall charger is plugged in, let me try turning on the AC load. Nope, it's not letting me turn it on at all. Ah, this is really frustrating. So this, I mean, honestly, I classify this as false advertising because it says UPS, uninterrupted power supply. How can it be an uninterrupted power supply if I have power going in and I need power to go out and it won't allow that to go out? That is driving me nuts. So unfortunately, it cannot do AC out at the same time as AC in. So I have a 200 watt solar panel connected. It's a 12 volt panel. We're getting 145 watts in. We can see here on this meter that we're getting 18.5 volts and 8.26 amps. So we're getting the maximum amperage in because it says the rating is 12 to 28 volts and 8.5 amps. So I'm going to go ahead and swap this to two 100 watt panels instead of the single 200 watt panel to see if there's a difference at all. So now I'm getting 157 watts in. So I'm still getting the 8.25 amps, which is right near the max input for the amps, but I'm getting a little bit more voltage. So that's why I'm doing a little bit better with the two 100 watt solar panel setup than a single 200 watt solar panel setup. Now, as far as connecting the app to it, it's really easy. You just have to make sure that the unit is turned on, and then I'm going to go into my Bluetti app. So I'm here in the Bluetti app, and you can see I've got multiple units here. All I'm going to do is click the plus button, hit scan, and on the very bottom of the EB3A, there is a QR code. So I'm going to go ahead and scan that right here. Once it's scanned, because I already have the app set up and connected to Wi-Fi and everything, it's going to automatically recognize the system right here, EB3A, and I can see exactly what's going on. I can turn off the AC outlets, I can turn on the DC, I can control all of it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the settings. I'm going to edit the name to just EB3A because that's exactly what it is. And then I can see that there's different options here, like to upgrade or update my firmware, which seems to all be updated. I can do power lifting, which basically means I'm able to run up to 1200 watts output from the 600 watt inverter. Now that's a really impressive thing to do because 1200 watts from a system like this means you could run even water pumps or even certain fuel pumps. So in a pinch, this could work with power lifting to make sure you can run a powerful load. It is funny though, because right here it says do not power a refrigerator, air conditioner, and so I guess don't even try to use it for anything like that, even though I was trying to say that earlier. Now the charging mode we can set to turbo, and what's going to happen is it should charge really fast up to 80%. I'm going to go ahead and connect that in. I wish that the screen would stay on longer. Maybe it's 70% because right now it's only going up to 150 watts. If I switch this over to standard, it's staying at 150 watts. So let's switch back to turbo. It says swiftly charge at 350 watts max. So it's definitely not going to do that above 70%. I thought it went to 80%. That must have been my bad. It also does have a silent mode, which is going to allow you to recharge this very quietly. Now the fans didn't turn on even on standard mode, but for some reason, if it's too bothersome with the fans, you can turn it to silent mode and it's gonna not actually make it silent usually. It'll just blow the fans very quietly and charge at a much slower rate. You can change the shutdown speed if you want to be in eco mode, all those different things right here in the app. And the app's very simple to use, but there's not a ton of features. It's not very feature rich. So it's just, it works, but not a ton of extra features. Overall, it's a good unit. The inverter efficiency is not great. That's definitely a concern for me. I do like the wall rechargeability, and it may be something that would work for you, but for myself, it's not one that I would typically recommend because I would honestly say save your money and go with a bigger unit like the AC200 Max, or even the AC300 or AC500 from Bluetti, or any other system. If you wanted help figuring out what system's gonna work best for you, just shoot me an email to info@poweredportablesolar.com. I'd be happy to help with that. So that's it. Always prepare for self-rescue.